everyone, and welcome to Nom Watch Review, part of Nom Talk Network. Here on the show, we talk about the latest film drop or a milestone film. In this case, we're going to actually have an exception. I'll tell you more later. But we're going to be also eating and drinking our favorite snacks. As you can see, we got channel points. We've got a charity thing going on where we're raising money for the LGBT community network. So if you're interested, please throw some dollars down. We've got a humble goal because we're a humble network. I am your host, Stephanie, and today I am having some Sprite in my Attack of the Show mug with my Deadpool on a stripper straw. You know, gotta.
Very good.
He's living his life. And I also got some popcorn with some tahini. Ooh, crunchy. Ooh. I burnt it, so it's extra crunchy, and I'm loving it.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's just extra. It's got an extra flavor. I couldn't find my blue spirulina, but anyways, we're not going to talk about that right now. I am very, very happy to introduce to you our guests for the evening. We have Eric and Jennifer, our regular buddies, and I'm so excited. Jennifer, hi, how are you? What are you eating? What are you snacking on?
I am doing well. I am so glad it's Friday. So I figured it would be appropriate. I picked this up at a large, I like how all the letters don't show. It's a little red bus double-decker tin of Scottish shortbread.
Ooh.
So Target has a whole Marks and Spencer's, which is a British department store and food store, little holiday line, and I went nuts. Ooh. And then to wash that down with, I have a grapefruit and vodka little sparkly drink and some water.
Nice. That sounds delightful.
Yes.
Eric, how are you doing? What you eating?
I am doing well. The cat's about to come on screen, so you might see him. I am eating some wonderful Apple Jacks because they're a great treat just to snack on. And then I have two seltzers, one alcoholic, Truly Mango, and a regular citrus lemon seltzer because water's important.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. So hello to Locust Blood and Cue Ball in the chat right now. Let's see. I'm going to just read into some of these comments. Q said, I ate some fish sticks and now just drinking some cheap version of Dr. Pepper. And Locust Blood said, what's good, fam? Glad to see you. What you up to tonight? And, you know, like, it looks like Q's jamming out to some music. And right on. He said, I do have a karaoke cover of Run, Rudolph, Run on my YouTube channel. Cool. Nice shout out. Yeah. We will check that out later. But right now, we are going to talk about the technically 2003 film Love Actually. They have been celebrating their 20th anyways. Like next year, it's technically for us, it's 20 years. But for cast and crew, it's already 20 years. So yeah. They're, you know, everybody's having a jolly good time, celebrating. Real quick about Love Actually, and I'm grabbing this from Wiki. It's a 2003 Christmas-themed romantic comedy film written and directed by Richard Curtis. It features an ensemble cast, and we will absolutely dig into that. Composed of predominantly British actors, many of whom have worked with Curtis in previous films, blah, blah, blah. It's set in London. It's got 10 separate stories involving a wide variety of individuals, many of whom are shown to be interlinked as tales progress. And the story begins 5 weeks before Christmas and is played out in a weekly countdown until the holiday, followed by an epilogue that takes place 1 month later. Holy Hera. Like, okay, there's a lot that I want to talk about. There's a lot that I'm sure you guys want to talk about as well. And I'm sure there's a lot that viewers want to talk about as well. So viewers, anybody who's listening, drop questions, drop comments, drop any of that in the chat. If you're gaining your channel points, your nom buns, I think, nom do buns, then you can also redeem them for things like talk in third person. Please don't do that to us right now. Singing instead of talking. Hydration, right? Hydration. Give us all the hydration, you know? IRL word band's another really fun one. And you can also remind us to take a bite or stretch. So just letting y'all know, we
For
do like to
posture.
have some fun. Yeah, yeah. uh, let's start off with our film rating because this is a movie that we have seen before, and we can get into that shortly after as well. But I want to know, what do you rate this film out? 5 popcorn buckets, 5 being the goat of all movies. Eric, what did you rate this movie and why?
So I went low. I rated this movie 3 just because there's so much that is going on in this film. Like you have 9 love stories, a random rock and roller trying to get this Christmas song out. You have kids, you have death, you have cheating, you have love affair with the man's wife he just married. Like there's just so much, and I don't think they were able to flesh out all the love stories that they needed to how they should have. I mean, the one that I cling to all the time is Bill Nye because I love his. Liam Neeson with his son, like that one I love, and also Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson's my favorite one in this entire movie. Like that one gets me, but the rest of them I could have taken them or left them. They didn't really grab my attention that well. So 3 is what I have to go with, them. Throw stones at me if you need to.
Oh no.
Now,
Snowballs. There we go with the Christmas movie.
now Eric did say three popcorns. Jennifer, on the other hand, what would you rate your popcorn, or what would you rate this film in popcorn, and why?
I gave it 4.5, right?
Yes.
Or 4. Yeah. So sorry, vodka, 1 sip. No. Okay, so very much like Enchanted, this movie came along at a time, well, it came along in my life. I didn't see it when it first came out, but I saw it with my sister when we were both going through a really rough time. And we refer to this as the perfect movie. This is one of our favorite sister movies of all times. And she was so excited when I texted her and told her what I was doing tonight. I love, and I am not a romantic comedy person at all. At all. The other one I watch is The Proposal, which is so snarky, or Shaun of the Dead, which has zombies. So, which is a similar production company to this. But
Yeah.
for me, I love all the love stories that Eric mentioned, but Colin Firth, Jamie and Aurelia was one of my favorite because Colin Firth is my Mr. Darcy, right? So, and I just love him. He's so adorably dorky. And I think this movie just kind of gave me back a belief in love at a time in my life where I was like, screw this. I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. So this was my thing to cling on to. And I just have really fond memories of it. And my sister and I love it and talk about it all the time. So it's a special movie for me.
I love that. Well, I'm sorry that you were going through a hard time when this movie dropped, but I'm glad that
I'm
you
all
were
the better for it.
Hey, there we go. That's my girl. And I'm sitting kind of in between the middle. Just because, as Eric mentioned, and as Jennifer, you have mentioned as well, there are bits and pieces that were integrated into this story, into the plot, that just didn't seem necessary. Very like, how long is this movie? Like 2 hours long, and for some reason, like I'm sure it could have been 2 hours long with 3 less and still been pretty good. Oh, is that the kitty cat?
I've realized why he's here. He wants my Apple Jacks.
That makes sense.
Smart kitty.
Smart kitty. Good flavor choice. Kitty knows what's up. But yeah, like there was enough in the movie that made it watchable for me, because I watch this every year during this time, actually. So it's really funny how because Eric brought this up originally. He shared an article with me and said they're celebrating 20 years. Are we going to do this? And I was like, yeah, why not? Sure. Because like it despite the fact that it was released in 2003, again, as I mentioned before, like for the cast and for the crew, it was 20 years. It was 2002 when it came out. So we also want to appreciate that for what it is. Okay, but let's get into the story. Oh, but before I do that, Cue Ball said my rating is 4 out of 5 because I do like the all-star cast, but the story was
Yes.
good, a little over dorky, and the pacing was a bit dragged, but the performances by everyone was very amazing. Yes. Oh, all-star cast. Yeah. Yeah. So it was an all-star cast. Let's start off with the all-star cast. We got Bill Nye as Billy Mack, Uncle Billy. We've got Gregor Fisher as Joe. We have
Mhm.
Colin Firth, Sienna Giori. I don't want to butcher that. Liam Neeson, Emma Thompson, Lulu Popplewell. Technically, like, yeah, we don't really care about the little girl, but at the same time, like, yeah, she's in there. Whatever. We got Chris Marshall, Heike Makach. I'm gonna butcher all these names now.
Oh,
Martin
that's great.
Freeman, Joanna Page, uh, Chiwetel Ejiofor. Oh, fudge, I fucked that one
Yes.
up.
No,
And
Yeah.
you actually were pretty close.
oh,
Yeah.
what?
Good job.
Yeah, it's Chiwetel, I think.
Oh,
I, don't ask me about the last name. I used to think there was an L in it, but it's Ejiofor. I think that looks good to me.
okay. But this actor plays Peter. To help people understand where we are. Andrew Lincoln, Keira Knightley, Hugh Grant, Nina Sosani, and the list goes on and on and on and on.
And on and on and on.
And now I just found the bottom of IMDb's cast list. So I'm just saying, like, we've got a lot. We've got a lot to cover.
Mhm.
Plot number one, as it starts off, is Joe and Billy. Billy is an old rock star who is redoing his song Love Is All Around to Christmas Is All Around. Okay. So it records a Christmas version of the Troggs' 1967 song Love Is All Around, tilting it Christmas Is All Around. So we all know that it's literally just him trying to grab a paycheck, but the way that he goes through the press and the interviews is what really gets it and what really makes me love him. Like, if anybody follows our Instagram, I used a quote that he says when he's on like their BBC MTV style thing of like, don't buy drugs, become a pop star, then you get it for free. Imagine that on national television of like some rock star saying don't do drugs. And the fact that the hosts on the side were just like looking, and they got nervous when he said it, and they were like, oh, thank God he's just saying no drugs. And then he goes in and they're like, oh, that's just a PR nightmare. But we all know the movie, it does really
Mhm.
well anyways. So congratulations to the Billy Mack character. But the like the bromance between him and his manager Joe,
Yeah.
really, like, I get it. I get it now. Like, I didn't get it in 2002, 2003, but I get it now. How did you guys feel
Mhm.
about this story plot in its own?
That, like I said, the Billy Joe is one of my favorites
Yeah.
because I feel like one, it was a complete throughout the movie. Like they kept checking in on him at the different points, like
Mhm.
the radio show, the MTV thing, and then the party where he goes back to Joe and he's just like, I don't need to be there. Um, but just the way Bill Nye played it, like just so nonchalant, just I hate this song. I know you hate the song. I just need money. But one of my favorite lines from him is when he's in the radio show and he's just like, what celebrities have you, or what's the best celebrity that you slept with? And he's like, Britney Spears. And he's like, nah, she was rubbish. And I was just like, that's so funny. I love the way they interact. You see the bromance there, because this is one of the only ones in here that is a bromance. It's
Mhm.
not love, but it's love in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's refreshing to see in this film, just to see they turned it on its head a little bit.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And Jennifer.
Oh yeah, it's probably one of the sweeter ones, even though it's the roughest story, I guess. That, like with
It's
the
the
detail,
raunchier one.
it's a little raunchy. Like I love his final bonding suggestion. Let's get drunk and watch porn. Okay, you know, that's how two buddies. I don't know any guys who do that, but hey, I'm not a 60-year-old British musician either. So,
Right.
but I liked that too. It wasn't a young guy who was leaving his manager in the dust because now he's super famous. It was an old guy who was in his old habits, and he finally realized what he'd been doing to Joe and their friendship and taking him for granted their whole time together. And who was the person that was there for him always? It was Joe. So therefore Joe is the love of his life. And I just thought it was probably one of the sweetest stories, like purest stories, because it is there are no strings attached. It's not a romantic thing. It's not a lustful thing. It's just two guys who realize they can't live without each other in a non-romantic sense, which is just more people should be that way with their friends, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like the bromance shouldn't be gone because time goes by. Like if you're true friends, you kind of you kind of face the battle together.
Yeah.
It's very Frodo and Samwise in that
Yeah.
way, in that regard. So that's super cute. The next story plot is Juliet, Keira Knightley, and Peter, who is Chiwetel, and they're the best man, who is Andrew Lincoln or
Mark.
Mark. So, you know, the scene starts. They're getting married. It's being videographed. I'm making up words at this point. It's being videotaped by Andrew Lincoln or by my Mark. They play "All You Need Is Love," and they're like, she's like, "Did you do this to the groom?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, okay, well, whoever did this either loves you or is doing their job very, very well. And the fact that yes,
Funny enough, because we just did Muppets on Monday,
yes,
the whole reason they did that was because they did it for Jim Henson at his funeral. They brought out all the Muppets and everything, the puppets. So they took that and put it in this movie to show that it's another kind of love. And I was just like, that is so freaking sweet.
Oh,
that is so cute. Oh
I
my
love that.
god. Oh, okay. Well, damn. um so like they have this whole conversation. She like what's the word, kind of like surprises him in a linked call. And I remember the days of like linking everybody in the same call and having a conversation all together, and now we have Zoom. So huzzah, 2003 to 2022, what's up? um, but she does say like the videos that she got were rubbish. And you were filming, you have clips, like I would love to see what you got. And he's just like, no, no, you don't get to see anything. And and what gets me is that Peter and Juliet think that Mark hates her. Nothing
Yeah.
to do with like, no possible. And what makes me think of the situation is like, well, how long were y'all dating before you got married and still not know that he was interested? So that is my take on this. How did you guys feel about this triage of a romance in the story? Jennifer, would you like to start?
I really want to say it's cute in a way, but it's really kind of stalkery. And unfortunately, even the ending, everyone's like, oh, the ending with the cue card. No, I, no, poor Peter, poor Peter. We'll never know. And, that may be where it ended. And then they could be friends because they got it out of the way. But no, um, I'm glad he went on to fight zombies because that he was better suited to that. He was really not good at handling interpersonal relationships. So it was a little creepy when she's watching the video, and I'm like, why aren't you freaked out that it's all you? I would be like, Peter, what's this is not my wedding dress. Okay, where's my husband? It creeped me out a little bit. It's a little weird, but he's pretty to look at, and they all are. Yeah, it's a bit creepy for me.
Yeah, I got you. It does seem a little especially with that Netflix show about that serial killer, like it just gives me that vibe super solid. But Eric, how do you feel about this story plot?
This is actually one of my least favorite story plots in the entire movie. Just because, like you said, it is stalkerish. Like, well, even Laura Linney asked him, like, are you in love with him? And he's like, no, no, no. And it's just like, okay. But going back to what you said, Steph, when did this start? Like, what did they go to college together? Was he always in love with her? Like, did he try to pursue her and then Peter was just a shitty friend and kind of took her from him? But yeah, this is not my favorite. I love the cue card moments because it is very sweet with the Christmas music and carol singers, and but also don't trust her because she lied to her husband and they're just newly married. As she's already kissed his best friend and lied to her husband about what she knows about the best friend. So I don't like this overall, and yeah, no, it just gives me the willies.
No, seriously. Like, I think that's a solid red flag. Also, how has this not happened yet before? Again, like, that question of how long were Juliet and Peter together before they got married? Because all of this would have totally been cleared, out in the open and cleared up. I want to say if they were together for more than 3 years before they got married. Like, I feel like by that point, all the skeletons would have come out, all the, like, the confessions, but who knows? Like, I know people that have been together for, like, a very long time, and the best friend still doesn't know that they're together, kind of thing. So it's weird. It's super
Yeah.
weird.
Well, I mean, then you bring, because the only, like, all of these characters are connected except for Bill Nye. His is the only ones that are not connected throughout this movie. Everybody is either friends or family or they work together. So my question is, how didn't Laura Linney's character and Colin Firth's character not see the love there either? Because they were apparently really good friends with them.
You're right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like, she had the balls enough at the reception to ask,
Mhm.
but
Right.
she's never pointed this out to either person before.
But
Mm.
for those two, they're pretty oblivious in their own worlds too.
Sure.
So are we sure they would notice anything outside of themselves? Another thing that creeps me out is that Dido song that he leaves his apartment and is fretting over. Because if you've ever seen, so kids, there used to be these things called music videos, and the music video for that song is a bit creepy too. So when that song comes on, I'm like, oh, I like this song. And then I'm listening to it and I'm like, oh, I don't know.
See, now I want to Google what the lyrics to this song is. So that
it can be like an addendum or in the chat or something. It's pretty.
Yeah.
It'll be in the Discord.
Yeah.
There you go. I will link it in the Discord after this, like, for real. Okay. But okay, so Eric, you mentioned that this story, as much as, like, some of these characters were integrated together in this kind of, like, way, you said that it was kind of almost unnecessary of a story plot for this film.
Yes, I feel like it was unnecessary just because they don't dive into the characters really. So they're just kind of there, and I feel like they just wanted Chiwetel, Andrew, and Kira to be in the movie just because everybody who was, like, British and famous at this point was in this movie. It's kind of like Doctor Who. But it didn't make sense to me because I didn't feel anything for these characters. I didn't care that she kissed his best friend. I didn't care that the best friend was in love with her. Like, it's a sweet moment, but it could have done without, and you could have fleshed out somebody else's character. Like, maybe then I would have cared more for the Colin Firth love story.
Right. Oh, beautiful segue, Eric. All right, so you mentioned Colin Firth. This is going to be the next story, Jamie and Aurelia. So in the beginning of this story bit, specifically, Jamie, who is played by Colin Firth, delicious, is pushed by his girlfriend, Sienna Guillory, to attend the wedding alone because she's sick. He returns to check on her, discovering she's having sex with his brother. And so he's like, F this shit, and leaves to his French cottage because I guess it seems like he frequents this cottage to write his novels or to write his scripts or what he he's a writer,
Novel.
so whatever he's writing, right? So when he arrives at this cottage, the housekeeper is like, oh, hey, yo, so I'm done, but we got this new girl, her name is Aurelia, she also doesn't speak French like you. And so, when when he's like, oh, bonjour, she's like, no, she's Portuguese, dude. So there is zero way that you're going to be able to communicate with her. Good luck. Hi, have fun. Merry Christmas. And leaves. And as time goes on, it almost seems like they have a romance brewing, or some sort of like familiarity brewing, and a mutual attraction. And then eventually, like, he, like his papers fall into the lake, and she straight up like strips her clothes off and goes in, and he's like, it's unnecessary, but now you're doing it. I like
So
this.
I'm going in with you.
I'm going in with you.
And to protect her from the eels.
I forgot about the eels.
Yuck.
So, like, Christmas is coming up. He goes back to England. Then he's like, oh my gosh, I think I love this woman, but I have no idea what she's saying. So he has to learn a few words in Portuguese. And then he goes out to meet her. I forgot where her family is or whatever, and declares his love and tries to propose in the worst Portuguese ever, but he's at least trying. And she says yes, and the family banter is what really gets me. I love the family banter.
He's trying to sell Aurelia to this English guy. I just love the little boy at the end of that being like, they're gonna kill Aurelia.
Great.
It just flashes me back to A Christmas Story, where the little brother is crying in under the sink. He's like, Daddy's gonna kill what's his name? I forgot his name all of a sudden. Ralphie, because Ralphie says,
oh yeah,
I almost said Mikey, and I was like, no, that's Goonies.
oh.
Another classic.
Yes. So okay, with this story, how did you feel, and did you feel like it was a good fit for the film? Eric, would you like to start on this one?
I see, and this is one of the ones that I think that could get taken out, but I think it was a good fit for the film, because they really, since it was just Aurelia and Colin, for the majority of it, you see those little things of like the meet cutes and the papers flying into the water and him trying to do something to impress her. You were still getting clips of them throughout the movie. So I think this was more successful than others on this. Plus, I love Colin Firth. So, but you brought up the lake scene, which is funny enough, because that lake was only, I think it was like 28 inches of water.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to like kneel down in the lake while they were doing stuff. So that day they just felt super bad for them, because they're kneeling and everything. And here's the cat again.
Oh.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, no, I thought this one was more well done, but if we wouldn't have had the previous Keira Knightley one, I think it could have got more fleshed out, for sure.
Okay, cool. I get that. Jennifer, how did you feel about this one?
I think one of the things is they're charming together, because they communicate so well before they even try to actually communicate in each other's language. They have a conversation in their own languages and don't even realize they're actually like saying the same thing. And I think it's charming. It's sweet. I feel so bad for Jamie, because I've been there, not quite there, obviously, not like there was no family involved, but, and it's funny because that guy that plays his brother, I saw him in a play in England many years ago. And that when he came on the screen, I was like, oh, I don't like you now. He was in a stage version of A Few Good Men with Rob Lowe and John Barrowman.
Oh.
Yeah, it was delightful. It was the best reason to go to England ever. And because the other play I saw had Kevin Spacey in it, so that's not so great anymore. But yeah, he played not the Kevin Bacon character, but like Kevin Bacon's helper lawyer guy. Oh, no, he played Sam. He played Kevin Pollak's character from A Few Good Men in the stage play. So he was like that assistant lawyer, but great actor, really nice guy. We met him afterwards, and then just real briefly. But yeah, I think to me, it's a sweet story where he has every right at that point, because he makes it clear that it's not the first time a relationship's gone sour for him. Yeah. In the same way or a similar way. So I think that he let himself go out there one more time, and he tried to learn this language and be vulnerable. And yeah, the family banter in that scene, I guess I'm assuming in Portugal, where they're going to the restaurant she works at, was just all the miscommunication. I was like, well, it's not just him and her. It's everybody. Nobody knows what they're saying. So it was cute. I thought it was cute.
And look, if you're gonna learn a language just to talk to me,
you at least
Yes.
deserve a couple of dates.
And
Yeah,
you look
it's
like Colin Firth. Yeah,
I
he was a
mean-
little ambitious asking for marriage right off the bat, but
Yeah.
you know,
You
it's
know.
it's a love story. So
But like the sister said, just go to England and you can marry Prince William.
yes. Perfect. Look how that turned out.
Look how that turned out. So yeah, I that one was really cute. But we're gonna move on because again, there are like 10 plots in this thing, and we're already like 20 minutes till. I apologize, Jennifer. I swear we will not go past.
No, it's Friday night. It's all good.
We're not
So
gonna
we're
go
gonna
there.
talk till midnight tonight, guys.
We're
Right.
gonna-
Perfect.
We're doing a 4-hour stream talking about
We're
only
actually just
love.
gonna watch the movie and then get your comment.
Okay.
We'll MST3K it. Let's
Yeah.
go.
I was gonna say, I mean, like, I think it's okay if it was Amazon, but it's on Peacock?
Yeah, it's on
It's on
Peacock.
Peacock, yeah.
Peacock. Oh, God, you damn bird. All right, moving on. We've got Harry, Karen, and Mia. So Harry is played by Alan Rickman. Bless
Yeah.
up. He's a managing director of a design agency. Mia is his secretary. And he's happily married to Karen, who's Emma Thompson, stay-at-home mother. Unfortunately, it does get to this point where she's being very, like, HR, red flag, thirsty, with zero shame. And look, I'd be a little thirsty for Alan Rickman too, but
She was a ho ho ho.
yes, she was.
She was.
Oh, she was the ho ho ho. But you know, they have a company Christmas party, and he's like, "Well, are you bringing your boyfriend?" She's like, "No, I'm just gonna be all lonely under the mistletoe." Stares at him, waiting to be kissed, and I'm like, "You make me mad. You make me mad." You know, and she hints that she wants something nice if he's gonna buy something. So when Harry and his wife Karen go to the mall, she sees him buying jewelry, really nice jewelry, and is all excited. Oh, rekindled romance or something. Because, you know, after having 2 kids and being the stay-at-home mom and the kids going to school and the guys going to work, it becomes a little overwhelming, and sometimes you get too tired, you lose a spark. So maybe she was really anticipating the spark being reignited and initiated by her husband. Lo and behold, it does not for her. And the heartbreak. Emma Thompson, first off, is a phenomenal actor. Just a phenomenal performer. Like, everything that she touches is always wonderful. If the movie is garbage, at least she did a good job.
Right.
You know. So the heartbreak that we see her do is just like, it broke my heart. It made me feel betrayed. And it made me very upset with Alan Rickman, even though he's just doing his job as an actor.
Right.
So
I hate you.
right? And it's like, okay, so yeah, this entire story plot was heartbreaking. There was hope, there was sabotage, there was a trollop. How did we feel? Was it necessary? Jennifer, would you like to start this one?
I could have watched a whole movie about them.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
To be honest. And that Joni Mitchell song. That Joni Mitchell song was on heavy rotation at the Starbucks I worked at when I was in the middle of a divorce. So
Oh no.
I literally broke down crying one day on the floor because of that song. Also, I was really tired because I had to be at work at 3:30 or whatever obnoxious hour. So that song, when they picked that song for that scene, Both Sides Now, it's a beautiful song. And Joni Mitchell is an icon.
Yeah.
And I actually have that album. I ended up buying that album. Like, you know, what's that? Not aversion therapy. Yeah, aversion therapy, where you take the thing that bothers you and you just absorb it and you expose yourself to it. I got that CD and I would make myself listen to the song until it didn't affect me like that anymore. So I could appreciate it. But yeah, I could literally watch a whole movie. I would watch her make the paper mache lobster. Why were there lobsters at baby Jesus's birth?
There were 2.
Two,
Right?
and she was first lobster.
She was.
And a whale.
Wasn't there
But,
broccoli too?
There was
Probably.
everything in that. Like this movie, there was everything in that.
Everything. They just were like, put it in.
Right.
But one real quick fun fact about Richard Curtis movies, they will always have a character named Bernard, or Bernard, as we would say here in the States, because years ago he had a girlfriend that he was very much in love with. And a gentleman named Bernard stole his girl. So there's always an annoying character in a movie that he produces or writes or whatever that's named Bernard. And that was her son, was Bernard. Yes.
I
There's
love that
one
it was the
in,
son.
I don't know if it is the son.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in Shaun of the Dead, but I know there's one in Hot Fuzz for sure. And I think he produced that. So yeah, that always made me laugh because I found that out years ago. But yeah, I literally would watch a whole movie about these. I would watch these two do anything on screen because they're both incredible. And Alan Rickman, I miss him so much. So that for me was the center point of the whole movie to me.
Yeah, it broke my heart when Alan Rickman passed away, but I feel like he was such an amazing, phenomenal actor that he helped us create memories, find connections and things, like just my heart.
Yeah, and they were friends till the very end. She would go and read to him.
Oh.
When he was very ill. Yeah, she did there's a whole video about it that will just make you cry your eyes out. I'll have to find it and send it to you.
No, because I'm already about to cry my eyes out.
Okay, I won't. I'll wait till after Christmas.
After Christmas, yes.
After Christmas.
Right. I'm experiencing enough melancholy post G4. Anyways, Eric, how about you? How did you feel with the story?
This one, out of like all the stories in there, I think is one of the most successful. Just because I love Emma Thompson and Alan Rickman, and even Heike Mia, because I can't say her actual name,
right?
Did a very good job at this. Like, you made us hate you, and that's, I always know it's a good actor. Like, it's like, what's his name from Game of Thrones? If you can make the audience hate you, even see you outside of the movie, and they hate you for it.
Oh, Joffrey.
Well. Yeah,
poor Joffrey.
Which his career's over, but he did a good job. But no, especially like, this is where you see their love at the beginning, everything like that. You see the characters built throughout the film. One of my favorite moments of them is when they're in the shopping mall, and unsung hero of this movie, Rowan Atkinson, who's the jeweler, like taking his time wrapping the present and everything like that. Like, I love him. And even him coming back at the airport at the end being like, let me hold my coat and my briefcase, and so the little boy could get through. But this one, especially with her scene in the bedroom, she has such power. She could be on screen for 2 minutes with the song playing, not saying anything, just crying, and make you want an entire movie. Well, maybe not just of that, but I could sit there and watch her for at least 10 more minutes because she just has that magnetic power. But yeah, no, this is one of my favorite ones. There's another one too, but this is one of my favorites. Actually, they're right there. If you see, they're to my left, right here.
Aww.
Oh, I love it. I loved it so much, and I was really hoping that they were gonna work out, but no. Frickin' Harry wanted to go all Karen and fucking make dumb choices. Speaking of, well, it's not dumb choices, but there's some things that you say in a public work setting, and some things that you don't. And we're gonna move on to David and Natalie. David is played by Hugh Grant, Karen's brother, recently elected Prime Minister of the UK, and Natalie, who is played by Martine McCutcheon. Oh, sweet Jesus. Oh, thank goodness. Is a new junior member of the household staff at 10 Downing Street. So this is interesting because, she's like, oh, shit. I mean, bollocks. And he's like, at least you didn't say fuck. And she just goes off. And I'm like, okay, I
am her.
Yes, like, I get it.
For sure.
But, when there's a new prime minister, they meet the president of whatever time that they're presidenting. In this case, for the story, it was Billy Bob Thornton. It was Billy Bob being Billy Bob and being, like the epitome of what I feel like they were trying to make fun of Bill Clinton a little bit. But you know, the standard.
Bill and Bush, I think.
Bush also,
Oh,
because that's
Bill
where
and
the
Bush.
special relationship part came from.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I would not have remembered that, but that makes a lot of sense. So, you know, playing this character and being like, ooh, look at this girl who is working in here. Do you do any fancy things over here? And, you know, it definitely deterred her enough. Let me see where it is. Definitely deterred her enough to kind of like quit, I think. Is that what happened? She quit?
He has her reassigned?
A minute.
Yeah, because when Billy Bob Thornton, he catches them hitting on her, he has her reassigned somewhere else.
Yes, that's right, to like protect her in a way.
But also, what annoys me about that scene is they constantly say the fat, chubby girl or the thick girl.
Yeah.
The entire movie, and I'm like, she is not.
I was looking like, oh my god, if she's a fat, chubby girl, then I'm a fucking walrus, guys.
Yeah, hi.
Just
there were quite a few little things like that in this movie that would not have happened if it was made today. Like one of the characters says he's a spaz. That's a slur in England. You don't say that. I mean, it should be anywhere, but it's to refer to someone who has like a spastic condition, like muscular dystrophy, something like that, where they can't control their muscle movements. But yeah, there's a lot of fat shaming in this movie. They call the guy calls the sister of Aurelia, Miss Dunkin' Donut 2003.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there's a lot of little things like that where if they made it today, those lines wouldn't fly.
Oh gosh, golly.
But the dancing.
The dancing.
I'll take you there. I'll take you there. And didn't that scene just like start this whole, it would be considered like a viral trend right now, but something similar to that where they kind of like made parodies of it for commercials and whatnot and like future films.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
And it was also like in connection to, there was this other movie, I don't remember what the movie was, but where he like slides in with like a button-up shirt.
Footloose. No, Footloose.
Footloose, like not Top
Risky
Gun.
Business.
Risky business. Oh, Cue Ball has redeemed Hydrate, so I'm gonna put my popcorn away and grab my stripper Deadpool. Cheers, everyone. Stay hydrated. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that was. Thank you, Q. Okay, so yes, like just the scene, the dancing, and how like he turns around and sees people and he's like, oh, nope, never mind, you didn't see that. And it gives me like what Gen Z would probably do if nobody saw them after they've been elected in something political. Like I feel like we would, like millennials and Gen Zers, we would do that. I would.
I mean, they do it. They do it now pretty much.
Yeah.
They do TikTok and everything. They'll be in the middle of Hollywood Boulevard just dancing their little hearts out. So
So, I mean, other than the unfortunate choices of words and terminology of people, this one I feel like was the cutest one because he did eventually like sneak into the school and you know the Christmas play that they're doing and he wants to talk to her, but you know, like he eventually has to like go up on stage. Hey everybody, Merry Christmas. Like, is this a publicity stunt?
Like, surprise.
It truly was, because wasn't it when they were kissing that the curtain went up?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it was super cool. It was just a lot of that. I feel like that was top tier rom-com that we experienced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they both played it so well.
Yeah, they did. And I love the jokes about how Hugh Grant is such a specific type of character that it's the only character he can play in any film that he works on. So.
And how Emma Thompson's like, oh, my brother, you came to support the kids. And she's completely clueless to this gal on his, you know, like, what's going on? No. Oh, how kind of you. Oh, what? No.
Oh, yeah. No, totally. Yeah, exactly. Eric, how did you feel about this bit too?
This was the cutest one. Like, this was the the love story that needed to be in there, the joyful one, because you have Emma Thompson and them with the sad one. This was the joyful one, the rom-com of it, because they were the rom-com couple. So yeah, this one was the movie. Emma Thompson and this one was the movie.
Yeah, I feel that. I really feel that. All right, and we are 1, 2, 3, 4 stories.
You still have 1, 2,
Yeah.
3.
I mean,
4.
there's Rufus, but we've already mentioned Rufus a little bit, and then there's the epilogue afterwards. But let's. This is another one that I feel like was very, very crucial in this story. Oh, I'm a little blurry. It's okay. I feel like this one was a little crucial for the story because you do feel loss. You feel loss of love. You feel spark a brand new youthful love, sweet little babies. Okay, so we got Daniel, Sam, Joanna, and Carol. Daniel is Liam Neeson, Karen's close friend. He mourns the recent death of his wife, Joanna, and he now tries to care for the stepson, who is Thomas Sangster. The character's name is Sam. Now, Sam got a little crush on an American classmate named Joanna, who's played by Olivia Olson, and after taking his stepfather's, after talking to him, is like, all right, I'm gonna learn how to play the drums so I could play with her, and then I'm gonna confess my love, kind of thing. I'm gonna impress her, and she's gonna fall for me, and it's gonna be great. And just the whole progression. What drove me, what got me was when at the very beginning when Daniel thinks that Sam is doing drugs. I'm like, Sam is 7 or 8. He has no mental capacity to want to do drugs unless somebody's actively trying to like sell it to him. And so when he's like, oh no, I fancy a girl, he's like, oh, thank God. I'm like, sir, like mourning your mother. Yes, I would freaking mourn too. But like drugs for an 8-year-old okay. Anyways, so, long story short, he eventually does it. Daniel convinces Sam, you want to tell Joanna how you feel before she leaves back to America. And so they book it to the airport. And all of the things that happen up until that point where she kisses him, it didn't make sense to me, especially after the 9/11 situation. Like, all of it just seemed so fantasy.
Well, they start off the movie mentioning 9/11.
Right. In an airport.
Exactly. So it's like, well, no, what's up with this airport? Like, oh, child, go ahead, frolic in and go tell the girl you love that you love her. Like, I'm sorry, what? Eric, do you want to dive in?
That little boy would have been shot with a taser and dragged to jail.
Exactly.
Like, no jumping over security, nothing like that. What I appreciate about this one is I do love Liam Neeson and Thomas, Sam and Daniel, their relationship, and how like it's the father-son love after the loss of the mom love. Like, that is another one of them that I appreciated. The little girl part, okay, you have your first crush, you love her, whatever. I could give or take it, even though that little girl wailed on All I Want for Christmas Is You, and that was her actual voice. They actually had to edit it to make it sound more like a kid's voice instead of how good she actually was. So that's impressive on her part. But Liam Neeson and Thomas, they're acting together. They just had such compatibility, I think, which drew me into them even more because I love them both. Funny enough, Thomas is only 5 years older or 5 years younger than Keira Knightley. And they're in the same movie.
So weird.
So yeah, but no, I love this one.
That is too weird. And it's so like, so Keira Knightley's face is so like structured and like so developed at such a young age. Like now that we're adults and we're like looking back and comparing the age, it's like, oh my gosh, this poor little girl had to do very adult things at a very young age, and not even because of Disney. Just it was what she was given, and oof, that poor thing.
Because of how she looked, what she was right for.
Yeah. Barely naked, doing a lot of sexy things. Jennifer, how did you feel about this story plot?
It's heartbreaking. It's so sad because Liam Neeson, and mind you, I'm almost certain this was before his real life wife passed away, because I don't know that he could have taken on this role after that. We saw what he turned into Taken and all those other, like, he hasn't done anything lighthearted or fun really since then. But he, just the way he handles, I'm a widower, and she had very specific details. Obviously they had time to prepare for it. It must have been like a lengthy illness of some kind. And how he takes on this little boy who's not his little boy, not biologically. It was sweet, and how he encourages him. But yeah, I was actually, when I was watching the end of it tonight before dinner, and I was like, Andy, my boyfriend, was in the room, and I'm all, they actually talk about 9/11 at the beginning of this movie, and this kid's just sprinting through security like it's nothing. But it's cute, and it sets up Daniel's eventual story to meet someone who can help him move on from losing Joanna. And another fun fact about both Olivia, who plays Joanna, and then Thomas, who plays Sam, is he is the voice of Ferb on Phineas and Ferb, and Olivia is Vanessa Doofenshmirtz, Dr. Doofenshmirtz's daughter.
Oh
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
Yeah.
Oh.
I found that out, and I was like, wait, what? Because when my kids were little, Phineas and Ferb was on heavy rotation, and so that's a cool little fact that I learned about them. But I think that's a great story, and I love Daniel and Karen's dynamic, because Karen is not going to let him wallow in his pity at all. And I think he's a tender heart, you can tell, and he needed Karen. And I really hope he had a Karen when he went through this in real life, like, I hope
that was just a tragic.
Yeah, it really was, and such a horrible accident. And so, I just, every time I think of this role, I think of like, man, did he even, he had no way to know that this would be a thing. So it's just, it kind of lends another layer when you watch it now, for me, because I incorporate, that's how my brain makes connections. So, but I do enjoy this little part of it, not the sad parts of it, but it's just cute how he really dedicates himself to this, and Daniel's his biggest cheerleader.
Aww.
Yeah.
And I was looking into it. So his wife passed away. Let's see, if this was 2002, 7 years after.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think he would have ever been able to play this. If he played the role, it would probably be to like murder a bunch of bad people on purpose.
He went dark.
God, unique set of skills.
It happens.
We just see him killing the other love stories in the movie to make it one.
Start with Andrew Lincoln's character. Just get that one out of the way.
Yeah, get rid of the little stalker dude.
And Chris Marshall too, Colin. Get him out of there.
Oh, and I love him as an actor, but also I've been in bars in Wisconsin, and I've been to the Milwaukee airport. No. Not even close.
I'm so glad we're about to get to that point. But let's go ahead and jump in that one, because that's a quickie. That's a really quick one. So we got Colin, Tony, and the American Girls. So Colin, who's played by Chris Marshall, is like telling his buddy, hey, I'm gonna go to America. They think I'd be like royalty, like I am Prince William to them because of my accent. And his homie's like, dude, you don't have an attractive accent. Like, they're not gonna like you. And so, successfully landing in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, he goes to the bar. There are 3 beautiful women with that just instantly fall for his accent. No, you could stay at our place, and then this is our roommate. So like, they gave him his like Christmas wish, but I think that entire plot was completely unnecessary. Like, you didn't have to be like making fun of us and like saying that we think any British accent's gonna be swoon worthy and like we'll drop our panties if we hear it. Like, stop.
I mean, there are some. If you're Idris Elba, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Correct.
Bridgerton, anybody, and Idris Elba. Yes. But anyways,
you, Colin, are not one of those ones.
Right.
Like, he's very confident. I admire his confidence.
I think that's what really sold him to the Wisconsin girls, or the Wisconsin. The accent, the ego, and the beer. Lots of beer. But did you guys feel like this was a necessary bit for the film?
No.
No, not. This is one of the other ones that I'm just like, just cut it out.
Yeah.
You could have dived into other stories way better because I don't care about Colin.
Mm.
I don't care that he's just wanting to go get laid in America.
Yeah.
Like, that's not love to me. He just wants sex. Funny enough, though, Chris Marshall, that scene where he goes home with the girls and they're undressing him and you see it like in the shadow of the window, he actually gave him the check back that day. He was like, you just had 3 beautiful women undress me. So that's pay, like for like 22 takes. He was like, that's pay enough for me. So he gave him his check back for the day.
If that's true, that is sweet.
No, it's true.
Oh
It's
my
true.
God, no. So he knows. He knows. Oh my gosh. Bless this guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right. Yeet. Moving on. Sarah, Carl, and Michael. We've got Sarah, who's Laura Linney. She appears at the wedding, sits next to her friend. She's the American working at Harry's design firm or company, whatever. She's in love with this Carl guy who's Rodrigo Santoro. Harry's like, you should probably let him know that you're DTF because everybody knows, including Carl, that you're
Correct.
DTF. You want to make all the babies with him. And so, like she's this whole thing, like, yes, they connect at the party and then he goes home with her and they're getting a little frothy. And we notice throughout her entire story that her phone keeps ringing and she keeps calling this guy or answering, yes, darling, yes, dear, like very endearing terms and very sweet terms. And we find out later at the end that it's her brother who is suffering from a mental illness. He's at a psych ward. And so, like, it's really unfortunate that she has to make all these sacrifices to help her brother because that's family. Like, you have so much love for your family that you have to make the sacrifice of making beautiful babies with this beautiful man on Christmas to take care of your brother because he needs you. And, like, it's sweet and it's heartbreaking because, that's a situation that people are placed in in the real world. So how did we feel about that story?
So yes, it's hard because she's in a very difficult place, but a little bit of her was being a martyr too. She could have, you can't take care of other people if you're not taking care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. And she is sacrificing everything for her brother who has full-time supervision and qualified caregivers. But she's kind of making herself a martyr. And it's sad. And I don't want to say it's creepy. It's a little weird how she, like, everybody knows, there's always, everyone's been in that situation where there's like someone in the workplace that has a thing for someone else, whether it's reciprocated or not. And it was here, or maybe he just saw an opportunity. Who knows? We don't know. Because again, it was one of those where they kind of just let it filter out. But I think the point was to show different types of relationships and different types of attraction and love at different stages of people's lives, which I get what they were going for. But this one, I really felt like she could have been a little, I don't want to say selfish, but she could have taken care of herself a little more in this situation and let herself be happy instead of being a martyr.
Oh, absolutely. Eric, do you have anything you want to add?
This is one of those stories that I wanted it to see it. This is where all those other ones that get thrown out, this is where it could have got built up. These are the characters I wanted to look into more. Maybe not the brother, but definitely Laura Linney and Rodrigo, because he's just beautiful to look at.
Yes.
But it even if, and Laura Linney said this too, she wishes she wouldn't have answered the phone that last time. I think that would have been a way better resolution to this set, is if she wouldn't have answered that phone. It would have made us feel better. It would have fit better into the movie as well. Because from what I got from Carl is, oh, you have a sick brother? Cool. He even says, will he die, or will he be something bad happen if you don't answer the phone? And she says no, and then does it anyway. So like, she knew, but like you said, she was being a martyr. I really wish they would have been able to go into the story more and pick the juicy, neat part of it. Maybe if they do a 20-year reunion, we'll see where she's at.
Yeah.
There
Like
is a sequel.
like,
Mm-hmm.
is there a sequel?
There's a short sequel they did. They have a thing in England. No more vodka. It's called Red Nose Day, and it's a fundraiser for a charity. So there is a Love Actually Red Nose Day like short that ties up and looks at some of the people.
I think I remember that. I don't remember.
It was a few years ago.
Oh my gosh, it was 2017.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, so that's as close as we're going to get. And didn't ABC do a 20th anniversary thing where they interviewed a few of the actors? They interviewed Hugh Grant and Emma Thompson.
I know.
Was it
CNN
ABC?
just did one.
Okay, maybe
CNN
that was
did
it.
one. Vanity Fair is doing one on them
cool.
like now.
Well, that'll be good. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That should have been more. I would have liked to have seen that flesh out a little more, because I want to know, why was she making herself this martyr? What was put on her by her parents or whoever? Because I'm like, why are you just being this way?
Correct.
I need to know.
Like one, a quickie is going to take you maybe 15 minutes.
Right.
15 minutes and then answer the phone call.
Yep. Then you can go wrap scarves around your brother all you want. It's fine.
Right.
He'll be there. He'll be there.
Just make the baby.
Just get yours.
Get the baby.
It's a little early for that. That's like,
I mean, we all know what she wanted. She wanted a baby.
Who in HR approved that that gallery that they had? That party at?
Oh, with all the Christmas hats?
Christmas
hats on the nippies and the
and the rear ends and all. I was like, someone didn't get approval.
Well, and then you have to go back to Andrew Lincoln too, because that was his gallery.
Mm-hmm.
So we just have to take him out of the entire movie.
Yeah, he's and Rowan Atkinson's character, I think Rufus, he was supposed to be an angel originally.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then they changed it, but he still kind of was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's our angel.
Yeah, I love him.
Always.
He's a delight.
Yes. Right. Last and not least, we have John and Judy. So John is Martin Freeman, Judy's Joanna Page. They're body doubles for adult film. So
I think they're just body doubles for like sex scenes in film.
Yeah.
I don't think they're. Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure that was an adult film. They were. Woo.
Oh yeah, they were doing the sex scenes for a film for which Tony is PA.
Yeah.
It's lovely to find someone that we can chat to. That's what I got.
How awkward.
Their whole interaction of just like, oh, are you comfortable with this? It was just so sweet and like actual conversation. And this is the part of the movie that I was like, oh, this is the meet cute of any rom-com. Their whole reaction was the meet cute of the movie, which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Awkward, but enjoyable.
When he warms his hands, I was like, that's so weird, but so cute.
It's so thoughtful.
It's also weird that the other guy keeps popping and be like, we need to see the nipples. Can you like just always nipples? And I'm like, just stop.
Oh
saying that, Tony, stop it.
For a second, I was scared because where she's on top of him, and anybody that is watching or listening, it is about to get a little dirty. So, when she's riding on top of him and doing like the lifting and landing, for a tiny second, I thought I saw actual pee-pee or a fake pee-pee, but I think it was her foot on the other side of his leg. But for a second, I was like, oh, Martin. Anyway, at the end of the movie, they get engaged. Good for them. Huzzah!
Yay, so cute. So cute. And awkward.
It was really like, how do you tell your family? Oh, yeah, we met on set. Which set? None of your business.
We met at work.
So we're a few minutes past time, but Q did redeem some points to ask a question, and it's an interesting creative, it's a creative's question. So my question for the guests and for the chat: would you be interested in a Tim Burton version of a movie like this, like a romantic but a beautiful dark comedy? And I'm not sure what Dark Shadows' premise is, but is it a Dark Shadows premise? Like if Tim Burton was to make like a super goth version of this film, of a rom-com, a goth rom.
Um,
Hmm.
dark com. Yeah, no, I think I would be interested in it. And yeah, it's very much stuff that he's done before. He would just have to pull, and we definitely see Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter in it, but
Like playing 20 characters each time.
Everybody.
Wouldn't it just be like a Helena Bonham Carter and like a Johnny Depp movie where they're all playing different characters in different plots?
He did Big Fish, right?
Oh, you're
And
right.
that movie, similar to this, ties together all those different stories. Yes, it's got like the fantasy aspect because you see the stories the dad was telling versus the reality of it. But in the same way, it was flawed people who were just doing their best. I mean, that movie will make me cry my eyes out every time. I know people who can't watch it. They just can't because it's just to the ending.
Aww.
That movie. But and it has Helena Bonham Carter in it. I think he could pull something like that off. I don't know if it would be like Wednesday Dark or the butcher, the singing guy, Barber of Seville guy.
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, Sweeney Todd. I don't know if he'd be that dark, but I think it'd be
Good thing we
somewhere.
didn't do that review.
It'd be like shaving. It'd be along the lines of Big Fish, where it's a little dark and it's a little whimsical and a little weird. Danny DeVito is a werewolf, that sort of thing. But I think it would be beautiful. I think he would do a beautiful job with like a gothic, multi-layered story like that.
Well, the thing is, you would actually flush out the story
and have less.
Yes. Yeah,
less is more, guys. Less is more.
But it would not be Christmas. It would be the Halloween version of it.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I would actually really love to see now.
I know. Okay, I want this to happen now. Thank you. Let's get Tim on the phone.
Guillermo del Toro would be. Oh, that would be one I would love to see.
That may have been a little loud, and I'm glad that I just realized that my microphone was muted for the viewers, so you guys were just saved, but poor Eric and Jennifer just heard me scream. Guillermo del Toro doing a dark gothic rom-com would be absolutely phenomenal.
Somebody get Mike Flanagan on the phone. He does gothic real well as also.
Yes.
It would be a little darker and there'd probably be more blood though, because
that's
if you saw Midnight Mass.
That's true. I'll just be like, hello, guys.
Yeah.
Hello.
but also Mike Flanagan's getting ready to do the Dark Tower Actual Justice, Stephen King's. Right. So let's let him do that. We'll call him for something else later.
Right. Do a good job here first, and then we'll circle back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, was there anything else? Because like there is the epilogue of what happens a year later or 6 months later, but at this point, like if you're not going to give me the sequel that I want, then I don't care.
Right.
That's
like we all. There was no point for the epilogue because we saw where they ended up. Like 3 months later or not, we knew where they ended up. Just give me a sequel to the movie and call it good.
Yeah. And now I want to look and see if I can find the red nose.
I think it's on YouTube.
Okay, great. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, this is all the time that we have to talk about Love Actually, celebrating 20 years.
I do want to say though, what really I do love about this movie, how they start off with like the airport scenes of people like hugging and kissing at the beginning and at the end. Those are actual people that were at Heathrow. That production just filmed and then went up to them and be like, hey, can we use you in our movie? And they all said yes. So those are actual people like seeing their loved ones coming back home and everything, which I just think is so beautiful.
Yeah. And Hugh Grant's voiceover over that was lovely. Yeah. It really was. Yeah. Which I used to have it memorized, but I don't anymore. I used to watch this movie that much, but not anymore.
Okay, well, here, let me see if I could find quotes. quotes because it's like the first. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's whenever I get gloomy with the state of the world, I think about the arrivals gate at Heathrow Airport. General opinion starting to make out that we live in a world of hatred and greed. But I don't see that. I don't have a Hugh Grant voice, so I'm so sorry, Jennifer. I'm ruining this for you right now.
Not at all.
It seems to me that love is everywhere. Often, it's not particularly dignified or newsworthy, but it's always there. Fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, husbands and wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, old friends. When the planes hit the Twin Towers, as far as I know, none of the phone calls from the people on board were messages of hate or revenge. They were all messages of love. If you look for it, I've got a sneaky feeling you'll find that love is actually all around. Aww.
And whenever I feel gloomy about the state of the world, I put on the video of him dancing in this movie.
Yes. Perfect. Well, on that note, this is all the time that we have today to talk about Love Actually. My brain almost forgot what we were talking about.
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd.
Shout out to my guests Eric and Jennifer. Before we like cut, please tell people where they can find you. Jennifer, would you like to start on this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can be found at do_as_Peggy says on Instagram. I don't use my Twitter anymore, so I don't have that. I am also part of at Avengers Cosplay, the Avengers Initiative. We are a community service cosplay group, and tomorrow we will be at a comic book store in Burbank, the Perky Nerd, hanging out, some of us in costume, for a couple of events they have going on.
So, I'm unemployed as fuck. I'll let you know. I want to see
2 to 4.
Perfect. Okay, great. And Eric, where can we find you?
You can find me on all socials. I can't speak now. Too much vodka. You can find me on all socials at Heartless7. That's HARTL3SS7. I'm not really doing much right now because it's the holidays, but yeah, you can follow me, see my random TikToks that I put up.
And you can find me here on Nom Talk Network, on Twitter, any social platform at Nom Talk Network, and then that's where you can find the rest of like my personal Mimi. But anyways, let's see. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to join our Discord to keep the conversation going. That's where we're gonna put all the horrible, atrocious lyrics of the songs that were played in this film. You're welcome. Don't forget to subscribe to all of our platforms, as I mentioned, at Nom Talk Network. Tune in to our next show, which will be on Monday, and we're going to be talking about the 2002 theatrical rendition of Les Miserables. But until then, I'm your host, Stephanie, and you have a nom-arific day!